Hi everyone, my name is Kayla Freeman, and I did my oral presentation on Rosa Lopez for my Drama 30 online class. Now, I did videotape the interview, and I'm hoping to get that on the link down below. Rosa speaks Spanish in her house, and her Spanish is not that strong, so she asked if I could just try to attach it because she knew how important it was to have an interview, and she didn't mind it. It's just that her English isn't strong, so she asked to be more of like a side note rather than to be the main project. So I said that was okay. And so if you would like to listen to the interview, like I said, I will hopefully have it attached down below if I'm able to do that. I'm horrible with attachings and videos. So I'm going to start telling her story. So Rosa Lopez was born and raised in Puerto Michoacan, which is a little town in Mexico. It is a beautiful town, but it is quite small. But a lot of people from Brentwood is actually from there, shockingly. Um, One of the earliest memories and the funnest memories that she had was playing outside in rain and hail. The weather in Mexico is a bit different. It can change from sun and then rain the same day. But she said she had a lot more fun when it was hailing because then they'd go outside and play in the hail. One of her favorite dishes that her mom used to make was beef stew. She does make it, and she learned the recipe from her mom, so she does make it for her three kids and her husband and her grandchildren. So she was raised with three brothers and two sisters. All her brothers and sisters live in the area of Brentwood and Oakley now, but except for one because he ended up becoming handicapped when I believe he was in his 20s. He was out partying late, and the truck that he was sitting in, the bed, took a sharp turn, and he flew out. And ever since then, his health has been decaying a little bit more, so he's not able to actually get a green card here, which they're working on currently, but it's been a bit more difficult due to the fact that he's disabled, and the government doesn't really want to help pay for extra medical, which the family's trying to convince them that they really don't want that they'll do everything that they possibly can for him. But yeah, the rest of her brothers and sisters do live here, except for her mom who had to stay back, and her dad who passed. Um, Rosa came here when she was 20. She came here with Jose, her husband, and she said that all he did was just walk behind her. They walked across the border, and that was it. They didn't have coyotes helping them or anything. They just walked across. They said that's how simple it was. And then 3 years later, she became legal. So, and I asked her the if the process was more difficult then than now, and because she has something to base it off. She's trying to get her brother, who's handicapped here, which is a little different, but they did just get Jose's brother citizenship here. So she had it to compare to, and she said it was completely different and so much more difficult now, and it takes such a long process through paperwork and rules and just a lot of things to hop over. And so, yeah, she said it was just so easy. She was able just to walk across the border, which I was found shocking compared to the movies that we were watching, and it just seemed so difficult. I was expecting something completely different. But when she got here, it was a little difficult to emerge into the lifestyle because, for one, she did speak English and she didn't take any. She spoke Spanish and she didn't take any English classes in Mexico. Luckily, Jose excelled in English, so it was able to help out a little bit. And so when she came here, she didn't get a job immediately, and she speaks Spanish in the household, which also makes it a little more difficult to learn English. But it has not stopped her. She does try, and she tries to communicate with me and also my son, which is her grandson. She tries to communicate with both of us, but if you see the interview, when put under pressure, it's a little bit harder for her to get out the words, and she gets a little shy. So that's probably been the hardest part for her because, like I said, she already had family here, and she had her husband who was supporting her. But once they got here, after they had their oldest son, Antonio, they did come across some problems financially, and they didn't want to ask for family's help or the government help. So they ended up having to send Rosa back to Mexico with their eldest son because they couldn't financially support the three of them. That happened twice, just for a few months while Jose was looking for work, and they came automatically back. But it was hard for them. It was hard for him to keep a job, and it was hard for her to find a job due to the language barrier. So they said that was the hardest part. And especially with Rosa, she said that was the hardest part because she didn't excel at it as fast as possible, and not as easily as she had thought previously. So when asked if she misses anything in Mexico, she says no, except for her mom. Now, to remind you, her mom and her brother still live in Mexico. She says that is the only thing she misses in Mexico. And once her mom comes here to live, then she says that she'll most likely visit Mexico less because they do try to visit at least once a year right now. But usually she does a visit about 2 to 3 times a year to make sure that her mom's doing okay and to see her. Her mom was her best friend and everything she had in Mexico. So obviously, that would be the hardest part. But other than that, she has a great life here. She absolutely loves it. When I asked, she couldn't even come up with something specifically. She says that her family is here, her home is here, her kids, her grandson. So she couldn't think of anything even possibly negative to say about living here. She just loves it. She says that the opportunities were here and not in Mexico. So right now, she does have a great life. She came from having nothing and having going back to and from Mexico just because of money. Right now, they own 3 homes in the Brentwood area, some condos out in Lodi, 2 properties out in Mexico, plus some land, which they are not looking to sell anytime soon because they're actually making some money off of it. They live quite comfortably and they absolutely love their life right here. They don't see any struggles except for trying to get her brother and her mom coming back over here. So she is a very happy woman. She came from nothing and she has almost everything. She has a family that she loves, a place over her head, and no worries, especially when it comes to money. So I hope that you guys learned a little bit about some of the immigration process from my story on Rosa Lopez. And like I said, if you guys have any other questions or just want to see maybe just the couple themselves, go ahead and click the link below. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.